Hey everybody, this is Keith Gleason, host of Indie Comics Relay, creator of the Mighty Mascots, and promoter for the Plastic City Comic Con, and I'm here with another comic review. Before I get into that, just a quick reminder, Plastic City Comic Con, about a month away at this point. It's coming up. It's $10 to get in. We got some great guests, including wrestling legendary manager Jimmy Hart, Mouth of the South. We got Dan Parent joining us. We got Will Murray. We got Jim Salicrup. We also have a handful, like tons of vendors, artists, comic dealers, about 150 or so at this point. And we got rooms everywhere filled with vendors. It's going to be great. It's a new location, the Hilton in Doubletree and Leominster. So if you're around, join us July 20th for the biggest convention for the smallest price in New England, $10. All right, everybody. Now that we got the promos out of the way, I am reviewing Scarlett #1. This is from Skybound Entertainment, published through Image Comics. The writer on this is Kelly Thompson. The artist is Marco Ferrari. The colorist is Lee Lowridge. Letterer is Russ Wooten. And a bunch of covers by different artists that I'm not going to get into. And this is part of the Energon universe that is coming out from Skybound Entertainment, preferably from the GIJoe side of things. I'm just going to read a quick synopsis of the series because you know me, I don't like to spoil much on my reviews. So I'll read you the quick synopsis from the Skybound website. So Shanna Scarlett O'Hara is about to take on the most dangerous Black Ops mission of her career, infiltrating the mysterious rising power in Japan known as the Arashikage clan. Her one lead is her former partner Jinx, turned Arashikage enforcer. Now Scarlett must use her skills to survive undercover and discover a shocking weapon that could change the balance of power on Earth. Sounds great. I've been loving the Energon universe. I think, honestly, it's probably the hottest thing going in comics at the moment. The fans that are following all of it are so excited. It's just a good shared universe with great continuity, and it's starting from the ground up, which I think is a huge thing, especially if you're a fan of old or new, because they're not, even though they're starting from the beginning, they're building it up in different ways, but staying true to what made, you know, the 80s versions of Transformers and GIJoe great. You know, like the love of these characters is the start of each of these stories. And I love, you know, I've been reading all of it. I started with Void Rivals, which is part of this Energon universe, but it's new characters, but it weaves in and out of like a little bit of the Transformers continuity in there. And then I've been reading the Transformers comic by Daniel Warren Johnson. I reviewed that a few months ago, actually maybe about 5-6 months ago at this point. And then they recontinued the old GIJoe continuity that started with Marvel Comics that Larry Hama has been doing forever. That one's going on its own. That's a separate title, not part of this new Energon universe stuff. But then now there's been a Cobra Commander miniseries, which I also reviewed #1, and a Duke miniseries, which I also reviewed #1. And I think the plan going forward is there's going to be, for GIJoe, there's going to be a mini for GIJoe and a mini for Cobra. So you can see how both sides are slowly building up to the groups that they're eventually going to become, which is great. So I got to say, so I loved Cobra Commander and I loved Duke. They were written by Joshua Williamson, which I really enjoy his writing. I think, he's been hit and miss with DC stuff and, other characters, but I'd say he's more hit than miss for me now at this point. And his GIJoe stuff is, chef's kiss. It was great. So when they announced Scarlett and Destro, which are the next two miniseries, I think Destro is out this week, so I might review that next week when I get to read it. I was kind of less excited about these two, mostly because I like Destro. I was never huge on Destro. And same with Scarlett. I like that character, but I was never huge on it. When I was a G.I. Joe fan, buying the toys and everything, I think my favorite character, G.I. Joe, was always Shipwreck and Polly. But I know, but I loved a lot of the GI Joe characters, and Scarlett was always there, and I always respected that. She was one of the best women on the team, her and Lady J. But it was never a character that I went out of my way to buy or get the action figure or anything like that. So I was kind of like, is this going to be the first misstep from the Energon universe? And I to be honest with you, I had never read anything by Kelly Thompson, and I don't know if I've seen the artwork by Marco Ferrari. So I was like, okay, I'm a little skeptical, but let's everything's been great, so let me try it. And I love the first issue. So Kelly Thompson's great writer. I might have to check out. It looks like she also did she works on Black Widow and Birds of Prey over at Marvel and DC. So I may have to check out some of her other work. I'm surprised I haven't read much by her, but I mean, she killed it with Scarlett. It was everything I remember about the character. She's this tough and covert agent, doing work for GI Joe, and but the thing I was most impressed with is it reminded me of good spy property kind of stuff that I've read or watched in the past. Specifically, like, it reminded me of Alias, like the show Alias with Jennifer Garner. Reminded me of that, but also like a movie like Atomic Blonde, like where you just have this tough as nails female character, but also beautiful at the same time. And just, I love seeing that, and it works so well. Like, here's this great spy, and you can see she has this history, and she's just really good. And she's as good as every other member on GI Joe, if not better than some, So I thought that was great. And this first issue, a lot of action. You get to see her be sexy. You get to see her rescue a bunch of people. I don't want to get into it, but it looks like if you know the Arashikage clan, you know where this is heading, especially if you're a GI Joe fan. But I love that. I think that's great. So. I should have not doubted them because Skybound's been killing it, but I did doubt them, and now I'm eating my words. I thought this was fantastic. So I recommend Scarlett. I'm assuming Destro's going to be good next week, but I have not read anything by Dan Waters either, who is the writer of Destro. So I'm looking forward to checking that out. And we'll see how, Mars Industry starts building up on their end. A couple other notes that I jotted down here. It's also a shared universe done right, which I think I might have mentioned that earlier in the review. I also skipped over through the Scarlett or the GI Joe Wikipedia just to read some more about Scarlett and seeing if it wasn't too much info. I mean, there was just more about her background and who she is. I was hoping to find out more about the creation of her character and everything, but I didn't see that. But she has a motto, which was mentioned in the Wikipedia, that I thought was a great motto. The motto is, "Beauty may only be skin deep, but lethal is to the bone." I love that. I thought that was great. They should put that right on the cover under her, right under the Scarlett title. I thought that was fantastic. So I do recommend this. Also, like the artwork, I had only seen preview pages of it, so I wasn't sure. I've never seen anything by Marco Ferrari. As I went through, he's a great storyteller. A lot of the panels, like, really, there's a lot of action in this first issue. So being able to follow the action is a skill unto itself. So bravo, Marco did that well. And I love the lettering by Russ Wooten. I've mentioned him before in the Duke miniseries and stuff. His sound effects are great, and word placement, balloon placement, all that stuff. It really, there's no better letterer, I think, in the industry right now than Russ. And so I think it's all around great package. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend all of the Energon universe stuff. If you're reading some subpar comics and you're looking for something to excite you, I think if you get on the ground, it might have a little trouble finding the early issues now, and they're probably jacked up in price, but the paperbacks are starting to come out. I'd say go on, Skybound's site and find out the reading order of everything. The good thing about this shared universe is you can kind of read it without, you don't have to like stop and then read something else. You can kind of read it on its own, and then it connects in subtle ways, which I think is the best way to do it. And I'm looking forward to, to see what this universe is going to look like a year from now. So, but all right, everybody, that's my review for Scarlett #1. I recommend it highly, and I recommend you go pick up all of the Energon universe stuff and check it all out. All right, it will be back. We're off next week on our live stream on Monday, but we're back on our bi-weekly schedule, so we'll be on, going back live the Monday after that. And in the meantime, read some comics, everybody, and we'll talk to you later. All right, have a great week and take care. Bye.